Howdy folks, welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing another episode of World in Flames Collector's Edition, Days of Decision 3 Combined Game Playthrough and number 2. This is going to be the March-April 1940 turn. Last turn we saw lots and lots of gear ups. The first thing I want to do is mention U.S. entry. I've done the calculations for U.S. entry. The highest right now is Germany at 30.5, and the lowest is Italy at -14. Yeah, it actually can go quite negative, especially since the Italians have basically done nothing politically for the last, I don't know how many turns. So yeah, so that's about all I really need to mention. I think I'll take a look and see what the major powers are going to bid this turn, and then we'll take a look at starting money and we'll go from there. Okay, starting money for this turn looks something like this. We're at Germany at a -5, Japan at -6, Italy at -4, the Soviet Union is at 0, the Commonwealth is at -5, the US is at -3, the Free French are at 1, and WiFCE is at 3. I just sort of keeping track of WiFCE. It really doesn't matter too much. I probably was just going to let the total go, and probably I don't even know if I'll mention it anymore. But anyways, they're at 3. All right, so I've looked at to see what major powers want to bid. With all the negativity in the monetary field, I figured that there wouldn't be much bidding at all, to be frank. But however, we have 3 major powers bidding. We have the U.S. bidding 1, Germany bidding 1 and bidding for 2 options, and the Soviet Union bidding 1 and bidding for 2 options. So we have the possibility of 5 options this turn. All right, let's go take a look at the initiative track and see how this pans out. Okay, there we go. So we have the USA is bidding 1. They're going to get a +2 for their 5th place position from last turn. That's going to give them 3, and that, surprisingly, is enough to put them in 1st position. The Germans are bidding 1. They're getting a +4 for their 1st place position from last turn for a total of 5. However, they're bidding for 2, so that's going to be 2.5 for them. That's going to get them 2nd position. The Soviets are also bidding 1. They got a +3 for their 3rd place position from last turn, which gives them 4 divided by 2 is 2, so that's going to give them a 3rd place position. Now for the non-bidding major powers, we have the Commonwealth at +3. That'll put them in at 4th. The Free French at +2. They're going to put them at 5th. The Japanese and Italians are tied at 1. However, I think the Italians are 3 and the Japanese are a 4. So the Japanese are going to break that tie. Italians will be 7th, and finally the Chinese are last. So the first last card goes on the US, and the last card goes on the Soviet Union. Let's go over and take a look and see what the US wants to do for a political option. Okay, the U.S. is going to do U.S. option 6. They're going to revise the Neutrality Act. And I believe if we read it, they're going to play this option. She's not at war with another major power, so she does make the prerequisites. The cost for this is going to be 1 money. Now, the U.S. can either pass or veto the Neutrality Act. The U.S. in this instance is going to pass the act. It's going to increase her political effectiveness by 1. However, all future U.S. entries are going to be reduced by 1. So -3s will become -2s, and +5s will become +4s. Now, you might think, well, why would the U.S. do this? Well, the U.S. believes that, especially for the U.S., that they are going to become more politically active, so they don't want to impact U.S. entry negatively. They also know that the Soviets are likely to become more active politically, as well as the Commonwealth, and maybe even the Free French. So I think the net of this is going to be a gain. So I'm going to try it and see how it works out. So I will implement the effects of this. I'll record the US entry, which will be a +3, and put the minor effects out, and I'll come back and we will activate a minor for the US. The US has decided they're going to activate Mexico. So I'll grab the markers and we'll come over here to the status display and see what's up. We got a lot of markers in this one. Okay, so we got a bunch. All right. My mitts out of the way here. Okay, now, interesting thing about this is the U.S. can indeed activate Mexico. However, if you turn the Mexican marker over, oh yeah, okay. You notice it says you got a lightning bolt USA on the back. That means Mexico is hostile to the United States, and therefore the United States cannot control Mexico. However, from the U.S. perspective, there's nothing wrong with the Commonwealth controlling Mexico. So, let's see how this works out. So, all these ones, they're not going to do anything, so I can just get rid of all of them. Japanese, Commonwealth, they all don't matter. Alright, so here we go. We got a German 2 and a US 4. So I think we'll activate the German 2. That's going to slide the Mexican marker here. And then we have a US 4. So 1, 2. That's 2 4 points. Perfect. Look at that. Mexico's right on the verge of entering the Democrat ideology. And they're actually, if you look at the ideology of the Democrats, there are a whole bunch of minors right on the edge of their ideology right now. I have to say, I haven't seen this too often where the Democrats have a chance at so many minors at this point in the game. So, okay, so that was the first political option played. Now, because the number of major powers at war, we don't actually roll to end the political phase because there's a +1 to the die. Doesn't make much sense. So we will move on to the next major power, which is Germany, and we'll see what they want to do. Germany is going to play minor joins in. Then they're going to do that with Romania. Okay, so Romania qualifies because they're not allied to another major power. Germany has 2 alliances with them. The minor's not in civil war, and Germany is eligible to control it politically, and it's not hostile to Germany. So they meet all the prerequisites. It's going to cost 5 money. And the U.S., the treaty chart, I'm going to apply that and increase all negatives by -1. In addition, I got to apply the treaty chart for U.S. entry ×2. And I will do that. And we'll come back with Germany activating a minor. Germany has decided they're going to activate Argentina. All kinds of markers in there, so it should be pretty interesting. Let's go see what's going to happen over here. There's Argentina right in the middle of the status display. And let me grab the markers. We got a 3 German. There's a 2 and a 1 for the Americans, so that's 3 American. A -1 Japanese, a -2 Commonwealth, and a -5 French. Alright, so the 1 Japanese is not going to do anything, so we'll just get rid of that. I think we'll activate the 3 American first. So that's going to draw the marker closer towards America. America's over this way. Right over there. So basically put Argentina where Ireland is right now. The extra point for the Americans is going to get blown off. Then I think we'll activate the -5 French, I think. Yeah, France is over here. So it's going to drive the marker this way. So we can go 2, 4. And that takes care of the French. And then we got 2 for the Commonwealth, -2. We'll activate that next. It's going to drive the marker here. And finally, we'll activate the 3 for the Germans. And it's going to be 2 to enter the hex, 1 to cross a boundary, that's 3. And Germany has, the fascists, not Germany, but all the fascists have drawn in another minor country into their ideology. See that right there? And the last thing we have to do is we have to roll the die to see if Germany ends the political phase. Now, there's been one previous political option played. So there's a -1, +1, so basically it's a 1. And the 6, and we keep on rolling. Germany's got a second option they want to do, so let's go take a look and see what that is. Okay, so Germany is going to play their IPO3, minor alliance, and they're going to use it to break their alliance with Poland. I've considered that major powers, I'll mention this right now, but I consider that major powers that have been vicied, and this really only applies to the French. They lose all their minor alliances with minors that haven't been aligned. So in the French case, that's Poland, Yugoslavia, so those alliances will be gone. Also, each IPO can only be played by a major power once, but if major powers want to break alliances, then you can do as many as you want. It can be played as often as you want. It's just making alliances that can only be played once per turn. At least that's the house rule we use. So I'm going to apply the war chart, plus -1 to other German allies. There aren't any that haven't already been aligned. So I'll be right back after I do all this, and we will activate a minor for Germany. Okay, we're back, and we're going to activate a minor, and I think Germany is going to activate Turkey. So we'll grab the markers, we'll head over to the status display, and see what we can see. Alright, here's the status display. You can see the Turkey marker is right on the edge of the fascist ideology. Let's see what we have. We have a big old -5 for the Commonwealth, a -2 for the Soviets, a -3 for the French, and a +3 for the Germans. I think this actually will matter somewhat. I think what we're going to do is we're going to activate the German first. So that's 3 points. So it's going to cost 2 for the hex and 1 to cross the boundary. That's 3. That's exactly what Germany needs to get her there. Then I think we'll activate the Soviet marker. That's a -2. Well, now it's 2 for the hex. Either of these hexes is away from the Soviet Union. And it's going to be 1 for the boundary, so it's 3. So the Soviet is not enough there to move the marker. So we will do -3 for the French next. The French are over here. It's going to move the marker this way. 2 for that. And the extra one is blown off. And then we have a big old -5 for the Commonwealth. 1, 2, now it costs 2 for each hex. However, we're moving away from a major power that can control Turkey, which is Germany. So it's going to cost 3 for this hex. So that will move the marker to here for 3 points, and there's not enough to move it another hex. So the remaining 2 Commonwealth points are blown off, basically. And that is the end of that. Now Germany gets to roll to see if she ends the political phase, because that was her second option. So there has been 2 previous options played. So 2 previous options played is a +1, so that's not a 2, that's a 9. So we'll move on to the Soviets and see what they want to do. Alright, let's go check out what they're going to do. The Soviet Union has decided it's time to gain more territory. So they're going to declare war on the Baltic states. Now, there's 3 countries in the Baltic states, but they're considered one political entity, so one declaration of war will put them at war, all 3 of them at war with the Soviets. Yeah, so they've already played RU6, so they're all set there. We've got to put out the minor effects, and then I got to come back, and we got to activate a minor at that point. So I will be back in a second after I take care of all this. Okay, well, so now the Soviet Union and the Baltic states are at war. You can pick up the markers. We don't really need those anymore. The Soviets don't get to activate a minor when declaring war. So the only thing they have left to do is roll a die to see if they end the political phase and basically deny themselves a second political option. So there's going to be 3 previous political options played, so there'll be a +2 to this die. Need a, or -2 to this die, need a 1. Oh yeah, I just took out half the Soviet troops. Alright, well, an 8 doesn't do it, so the Soviets will get to play their second political option, and this one's going to be relatively easy. They're going to do minor alliance, however, they're going to be breaking their alliance with Yugoslavia. Now, why would the Soviets break their alliance with Yugoslavia? Well, they know that the Germans are going to probably attack Yugoslavia sometime in this upcoming year. And they know they're not prepared to take on Germany, and they'd rather preserve their PE their PE, their political effectiveness right now, rather than losing it when they don't support Yugoslavia. So they're just going to break the alliance. Okay, so they're going to get the war chart on this, and then -1 to other allies, but they don't have any allies, so that's not going to really matter too much. And it's going to cost them 5 money. And, okay, so I'll come back as soon as I get all this done, and we'll have the Soviets activate a minor. Surprisingly enough, the Soviets are going to activate Poland. Stalin really loves it when he can implicate or get the Western Allies and the Germans to get together in a brouhaha and have a big old fight all the time. So he's going to try to get it so that the Polish can be aligned by the Commonwealth, maybe before Germany is actually ready. Alright, so we got a -5 Soviet. It's probably not going to work out, but well, we're going to try it anyway. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5, 6, 7. So this is actually further away from the German marker. So it's gonna, we'll do the German first. So it's going to cost 3 to move the marker here, and out of the 8, so that leaves -5. It'll cost another 3 to move the marker here, and that's going to leave -2. Now that's not enough to actually move the marker here, so the remaining 2 points are blown off. However, the -5 Soviet is going to be enough, unfortunately, to push the marker this way, because it's going to be 2 for the hex and 1 to move away from a major power that can control the minor for 3 total, and the remaining 2 is not enough to get it in any of these hexes out here, so those 2 points will be blown off. However, now Poland is within the free market section of the capitalist ideology, so if the Commonwealth signs an alliance with Poland, they could activate them and align them in the same turn. So the Germans see that, so we'll see what happens. There's no die roll to end the political phase, so we will move on to initiative, weather, and then taking a look at reinforcements. And we'll see how the turn goes. Okay, for the initiative roll, we got blue, red, and white. So the red are the communists, the blue are the Democrats, and the white are the fascists. The modifiers for the die roll are -1 for the Democrats, 0 for the communists, and a +2 for the fascists. Alright, let's see what we get. Alright, so we got a pair of 1s and a 6. So the Democrats won big time. They don't really see much we can do in China this time. We don't really even know what the weather is. So March, April, weather can be a real toilet. So I think probably the Commonwealth wants to get her convoy escorts out for the Germans decide to send out subs. So they're going to go first. Now we got the Fascists are up next. The Fascists are just happy to go last, and that will put the Communists in at second. So this order is going to be the same as last turn. Now we got the big weather die roll. And let's see. What did they do with my die? Okay, here we go. Weather, 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 weather. And the weather roll is complete garbage. That's a 1. Right? March, April. Okay, yeah, we're off to a good start. We got the blizzard in the Arctic. We got the blizzard in the North Temperate. We got snow in the Mediterranean. Oh yeah, that's great. Rain in the North Monsoon. Storm in the South Monsoon. And storm in the South Temperate. Yep, things are going great, for at least from the fascist perspective. The communists and the Democrats think things are going great. Okay, so the impulse marker is going to move up 2. So we'll put the little yellow die with a 2 next to that. And the weather roll, I'm sorry, the impulse marker goes up 3 per set of impulses. And the die roll for the next weather roll is a +2. So what that means is that it's more likely to have better weather. All right, let's go and take a look at what we got for reinforcements. See who's getting what, when, and where. All right. So this is the March-April turn. So we have some militia for the Japanese. This is the Tokyo militia. That will go on map. We have the Fuso, I believe. Yep, the Fuso will go on map. We have 2 Chinese infantry units, an infantry army and a militia army. Those will go on map. We have an American. Wow, Americans built troops. Oh, a militia. No, I'm sorry, a garrison corps. That will go on map. That's probably heading for Hawaii. Let's see. We also got an American transport. That will go on map. Actually, that's will not go on map. That is going to go on into the construction pool because that was face down for its second cycle until it gets built. We got 2 convoy points for the Commonwealth. We have a headquarters for the Italians. That's going to go on map. We have a couple of pilots here, one for the Italians, one for the Japanese. I'll add those to their pilot totals. That gives them 2 each for pilots. We also have a combat air group for the Japanese. I'll put that in the reserve pool for now. We also have a combat air group for the Germans. I'll put that in the reserve pool for now. We have a sub going in the construction pool for Germany. That is a Type 2D, not a real great one, but take whatever they can get, right? We have 2 Soviet units, a couple garrison armies. 6-1 and a 5-1, pretty decent. We got a Japanese Special Naval Landing Forces Division going on map. We have a convoy point for the Japanese going on map. We have 2 convoy points for the Americans going on map. We've got 2 combat air groups. I'm going to put those in the reserve pool for now. Take a look at those later. The Americans have 3 pilots, so they might, one of them those might actually get deployed. The Japanese carrier going on map, the Shokaku. And we have a British carrier going on map, the Illustrious. Okay, so I will get these reinforcements deployed, and then I will come back with the, I don't even know if I'll come, well, I'm probably not going to come back until the weather actually turns to something where the Germans might do something with their fleet, so we'll see. We'll see. I gotta get these deployed and I'll be back in a bit. Okay, for the first set of impulses, the Democrats, well, the Commonwealth took a naval. They got their Navy out there doing some escort duty, trying to block up the North Sea. China did nothing. The United States sent their garrison corps to Hawaii. That's all they did. The Soviets, being at war with the Baltic states, took a combined and they moved some troops into the Baltic states. There are no land defenders in the Baltic states, so that is what it is. You can see I've actually sorted out the Polish counters, thinking that something might happen this turn, but it obviously didn't, because when we got to the Fascists, Germany took a naval and they attempted to get their fleet through the North Sea. The search rolls came out to be a 5 and a 6, which is effectively a 6 and a 7. Have to add 1 for blizzards. Can't use carriers or naval air to influence the die roll. So nobody found anybody, and the German fleet ended up in the Faroes Gap, where there are no British ships. The British got the rest of during their turn, their convoy escorts out. And that basically, the Japanese did nothing. The Italians moved a unit down to Africa. That was all they did. And that basically wraps it up. And we're back to the weather roll. Let's do a weather die roll, see what happens. This is a +2 to this roll. Let's put this right here. Okay. +2 to the roll. A 7 is a 9. And for March, April, a 9 is rain in the Arctic, fair weather everywhere else. I think we're probably going to have some action now. There's no addition to the weather roll for next turn, and the impulse marker moves up 1. By the way, the next turn is the first turn that, actually, if all the Democrats pass this turn, no, the Chinese don't want to pass. They definitely want to move. So I'm going to do the movement for the Chinese, and for the Soviets who are in the Arctic zone in the Baltic states is still going to be rain, but that is what it is, I guess. And I'll probably come back with the Fascists. I don't think. Let's go over and take a look at China. Okay, we are back to the Fascist impulse. And the Chinese did move a unit up here. They moved a communist unit up here during the communist impulse. The communists moved 4 units inside of the Baltic states. During Japan's impulse, she took a land impulse. So we got 1 ground strike. We're going to ground strike this hex right here. It's for 1s. Let's see what we get. We need a 1 to do anything. So the red die will be the top unit. No, it's not going to cut it. 5 and a 6. 5 and 6 coming up an awful lot lately. So Japan has a potential 3 to 1 here. Obviously, it's going to be on the assault table. And let's see, 3 to 1 assault. A 3 would be really bad. A 10 would be great for Japan. We're going to use HQ effects, which will give Japan a +1, because I think Uzumu is in here somewhere. Yep. There's no sense in using Chang, because it's not going to do anything. It's not going to offset anything. Yeah, so we got a 3-to-1 plus 1. Let's see what we get. Japan's been pretty good at choking lately. Oh, that's a choke. Oh yeah, they choke big time here. That's a 1, which becomes a 2, which is 1 loss for Japan, nothing for China. So good for Japan, she has a militia unit right here, but that's going to flip all these units over. And that's going to end any kind of offensive down here. That is the end of that. I just love it when things happen real like that. It just makes the game interesting. Alright, so they will get a cadre for that because it's next to one of their headquarters. Okay, now let's move over to Europe. See what's going to go on there, over there. And I can already tell you, Germany is declaring war on Poland. That's going to cost them $3, which they will pay for. Puts Germany currently at -14. They are going to take a land action. It's going to cost them 1 oil. Alright, now we got ground strikes. The Polish are surprised. Surprise, surprise, the Polish are surprised. So, ground strike wise, I think we're going to use this Stuka to ground strike here. This Stuka is going to ground strike here. The Polish Air Force cannot reply. I think these guys are going to ground strike here. This Stuka, he's going to ground strike him. It's in a forest. We'll ground strike that one. Alright, that's good for ground strikes, so let's do those. So we're going to be rolling twice for each unit. I'll just dig the stacks out as I go through them. The first Stuka, which is a 5, is ground striking Warsaw. So we'll go right to left. So the first unit, let's move this back. Alright, we got a 5, so the tactical bomber is flipped over. The second unit, which is a fighter, a 3 and a 1. He is flipped over. The artillery is flipped over. The important headquarters is not flipped over, and the 6-3 is flipped over. So the headquarters actually survived. So we'll put all these guys back. The headquarters survived. Interesting. And we'll get the next stack out with another Stuka. This guy is a 4. So again, right to left, these are for 4s. Nothing for the first unit. The second unit is flipped, and the last unit is also flipped. So that one is done. And finally, we have a ground strike on the lone cavalry, and that's 2 dice at 4s. And they missed. Wow. Missed the headquarters. Missed the infantry division. Missed the cavalry. Gotta send these guys back to pilot school. Alright, I'm going to break here. I'll do movement for the Germans, and when I come back, we'll see what we have for attacks. Okay, after movement, Germany has 3 attacks. And we have a 9-to-1 here on the Blitzkrieg table. That's an automatic. kill. Oh, so he's gone. The two ships that were overrun up here, I rolled for them. They both got scuttled. Over here we have a 10-to-1. That's an automatic on the Blitzkrieg table. And oh, actually I got to take my occupy the hex here. I think these guys will occupy the hex. And I think these guys will occupy this hex. And I think I can blitz here. I think so. Maybe not. Nope, I guess not. So I messed that one up a little bit. Over here we got another 12-to-1 attack. So we will occupy the hex and blitz. And that can move up to there. So that is the end of the Germans' first turn. Kind of successful, sort of. And the Japanese, total flop. The Italians are not doing anything. So now we just have to roll to end the turn. I'll do that over here. This is for a 1. So not make the Germans happy. I'll roll the 3. Alright, so we'll move on to the Democrats. Now it's the all-important weather roll. Get the white Democrat die out here, and we'll see what we get for weather. Oh, 7. I think that's the same. 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. Oh, no, it's rain in North Temperate. Ooh, that's going to slow the Germans down. And rain in North Monsoon. So rain in North Temperate. And rain in North Monsoon. And the impulse marker moves up 2. Alright. We're at the Democrat turn. The Polish will call out their reserves. You can go in the hex beside it, I think. So I'll put one there and one there. Going to make it as difficult as possible for the Germans. I don't think it's going to be that difficult, but the rain is definitely going to help. Definitely going to help. So let's see. I don't really see them moving anything. The Polish are just about, that's about the best they can do. We'll go over here to China. I think the Chinese are good. They're very, very happy with that completely failed attack. That was a very good news for China. That would have really put a lot of pressure on them in the south. Okay, so that's it for the Democrats. Rolled in to turn. That's a 2. Alright, let's come back. Rolled in to turn. Try to get these on camera. A 10 don't do it. Alright. So we move on to the Communist Impulse. We are at impulse number 15 right now. And for the Communists, let's see. I think they're just going to continue to move. We can get 1 hex. We've already conquered Latvia. And we'll move him here, and he will go here. That's a 1, 2, 3, 4. That's too many. No, the Communist Chinese didn't move anything, so 5. So we're okay with that. Next turn, we should pretty much wrap up this, as long as the weather is decent. Oh, it's also rain in North Temperate. I didn't put that down. So we got rain in the... So this turn is rain in the Arctic, rain in the North Temperate, and rain in North Monsoon. That's why that's like that. Okay. We'll move on. Oh, got to roll to see if the turn ends. 8 don't do it. We'll move on. Impulse number 17. The Japanese will take a combined. We will have an attack over here. I think they're gonna get this guy out to sea. That's probably all they're going to do this turn. Really can't do much. Alright, so Japan has a attack here. It's 4 billion to 1, and the partisan is destroyed. That was the end of that. Not going to move anything, because whatever they move is going to get turned face down. So we'll come back over here to Germany. I will do a little bit of movement for them. Don't know how much they're going to want to move, because they have the same problem. Stuff will get turned face down. But I'll do the movement, and I'll come back if there's an attack or anything. Okay, for Germany's impulse, a lot of this stuff basically moved just 1 hex. They have enough movement points to move 1 hex. There was a couple that could move 2 hexes. There's no attacks. They just don't have enough to make an attack, and with the weather, it's really not going to be worth it. So I did expend an oil. Let's do that. And I guess what we'll do is we'll roll the end of turn. We need a 3. I'll get the die here, the red die. A 7 doesn't do it. We'll roll weather. There's no modifier to the die roll. I'm sure the Democrats are hoping for a 1. Let's see what we get. Another 7. No, that's going to be rain and North Temperate again. So they're okay with that. Alright, I will do the Democrat. We're going to move the Democrats. I'll probably just do movement here. I don't really see a whole lot happening. If something does, then I'll break, and we'll take a look at that. Okay, we're on a Fascist impulse. Germany did a combined. Sent their subs out to the Bay of Biscay. See if they can find anything. So, roll search dice. Let's see. So, the Commonwealth found everything. This is going to be sub-combat. Actually, hey, we are adding, this is rain, +1 to search roll, so that's a 4, and that's a 2. So this section found the convoys, and it will be a convoy combat, unless, no, actually the Commonwealth can pick surface combat, I think. The Germans don't have enough points. They don't have any surprise points. For the 5, the 3, 5 to 4, I think that is. My box with his die, that's 7. No, my box, that's 5, and his highest box, which is 1. Oh, actually, the Germans, I gotta figure this out. Okay, due to the fact that the Germans have subs, they're going to refuse combat. They can do that. It wasn't a good enough roll for them, so that's the way it goes. Okay, Japan basically did nothing, because rain. And everything in the North Monsoon is rain too. So yeah, they did nothing. So now we'll just roll to see if the turn ends. And it's a 4. Yep, it's a 4. A 9, nope, turn keeps going. Now we roll weather. The Democrats roll the weather. 1. Okay, yep. Weather is just awesome. So we got blizzard. Blizzard. I would say that's probably going to be the end of this. Snow. Wow. March, April. Rain. The Germans messed this up big time. Storm and storm. And there's a +2 to the weather die roll for next turn. And the impulse marker moves up 2. Oh, I'm sorry. moves up 3. Democrats ain't doing anything. They don't have to do anything, so they're not going to do anything. Well, they're just going to roll to end the turn, which is going to be a 5. Actually, I think all the Democrats will pass. That'll make it a 6 to end the turn. A 4 does end the turn, so we ended the turn on the Democrat impulse. What that's going to do, it's going to move the Communist impulse modifier marker up to the +1 box. And that's about it. And now I'm going to do partisans. Everything's got to return to base, and Poland remains unconquered. Amazing. Just amazing. Everything's going to return to base. I'm going to roll for partisans. See what we get for a partisan roll. Tree. Belgium. France. And that's it. Belgium and France. So Belgium has a 3, which is a 2. Okay, no partisan there. And France has a 15, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. They might get a partisan. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7. So France is a 15. Actually, it's the first year, so it's half that. So it's going to be an 8. I forgot about that. First year, it's half. It'll be an 8. Okay, no partisan. 8 and a 7, so that's a 1. So there would be no partisan. All right, I'm going to do production, and I'll come right back. Let's see what we see. Okay, let's take a look at production. Oops. I need to do that. Okay. All right. German production was 30. They started with 16 and they spent 13. Second cycle for a sub, pilot, mechanized corps, motorized division, a couple of militia units. Japan production was 14, started with 8, spent 9. Militia, 3 convoy points, a garrison unit, and a tactical twin-engine bomber. Italy production was 8, started with 4, spent 5. A naval bomber and it's not a naval bomber, but it's a tactical bomber. And a land down a carrier. Soviet Union production was 15, started with 11, spent 12. 2 convoy points, an artillery unit, and 2 infantry armies. Commonwealth production was 17, started with 12, spent 15. A pilot, a anti-aircraft gun, a tanker point, 2 convoy points, a militia corps, combat air group, a single engine fighter, laid down a carrier, and laid down transport. Laid down the Queens. That awesome transport. Alright. U.S. was, the production was 19. Started with 5. So they got a tanker point, 2 convoy points, and laying down another transport. The Free French are laying down a transport. I've decided that they can build naval units. Doesn't say they can't. So, alright, so I'll get these onto the circle and I'll get this turn uploaded as soon as I can. But the most interesting takeaway from this turn is the fact that Germany attacked Poland and Poland is still alive. So go figure. Alright, hey, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, share. I appreciate it all, and see you soon.